I was born with a large chest. Everyone thinks I'm just a big-chested airhead. So on the eve of my wedding, my husband's cousin, Lu Wanning, suddenly knelt before my carriage and said through her tears, "Miss Qin, I beg you to let me be with my cousin. Wanning has lived in the Marquise's manor since childhood and grew up with him. I only ask that after you marry in, you'll allow me a place to stay." People in the crowd began to whisper, "This young lady is truly a devoted lover. Indeed, the Chancellor's daughter is of noble birth. Why bother with a poor orphan?" I stepped out of the carriage with full authority, while Lu Wanning remained frail. "Sister, I certainly cannot accept being called your sister." I looked down at her from my position. "I am the Chancellor's legitimate daughter, the Empress's niece, and the Lady of Chengyang by imperial decree." "You're just an orphan living in the manor with no rank. Who gave you the nerve to block my carriage? And to claim kinship so boldly?" Lu Wanning's tears fell even harder. Wanning knows she's wrong. Wanning just loves her cousin too much. "Loves him?" I sneered, suddenly leaned down, and whispered into Lu Wanning's ear so only she could hear. "Lu Wanning, you're putting on this show today just because of the child in your womb, aren't you?" Lu Wanning's pupils shrank instantly, and her face turned deathly pale. How did you? I straightened up and suddenly raised my voice. "Miss Lu keeps saying she wants to be a lowly servant, but I heard that her lifestyle in the manor is even more lavish than that of a proper young lady." My gaze fell on Lu Wanning's flat belly as I continued. "One takes a concubine for beauty, but a wife for her virtue. Miss Lu hasn't even married yet, but she's already pregnant by her own cousin. A woman so shameless and disgraceful to her family. If I accepted her, wouldn't the whole world laugh at the Qin family's lack of standards? They'd mock the Chengyang Manor as a place that harbors such filth." At these words, the entire crowd was in an uproar. "What? Pregnant out of wedlock? Pregnant before marriage? That is absolutely shameless. She acted so pitiful just now, but she's just a vixen who seduced her cousin." You're slandering me!" Lu Wanning shrieked and tried to stand, but she stumbled because her legs were numb. I stepped back, covering my nose with a handkerchief in disgust. Whether it's slander or not, an examination will tell. My maid Shiwu happens to know some medicine. "Shiwu, go and check Miss Lu's pulse." Shiwu immediately stepped forward and grabbed Lu Wanning's wrist without expression. Lu Wanning struggled desperately. "Let me go! Who do you think you are? Get away!" Shiwu placed her fingers on the pulse, then released it after a moment and spoke loudly to the crowd. "Reporting to my lady, Miss Lu's pulse is smooth and rapid, like pearls rolling on a plate. It is a pregnancy pulse, over a month along." The crowd erupted in laughter and insults. I didn't even look at her as I turned back to my carriage. Back to the manor. "Outrageous! This is absolutely outrageous!" Old Madame Lu was so furious she smashed her teacup on the floor, sending shards flying. Lu Chengyan knelt on the floor in silence, his face filled with irritation and regret. "That Qinyan is nothing but a shrew," Lu Chengyan said through gritted teeth. "Grandmother, you have no idea how arrogant she was at Tai Bai restaurant today. She not only humiliated Wanning in public, but she also exposed that matter. Now the whole capital is saying our manor has no sense of shame. So you do know what shame is." Old Madame Lu pointed at his nose and scolded him. "The Emperor's decreed marriage isn't even finalized, and you've already gotten your cousin pregnant. If word of this reaches the Emperor's ears, do you even want to keep your title as Marquis?" Lu Chengyan stiffened his neck. That's because Qinyan is too cruel. She's like this before even entering our home. If she actually marries in, will Wanning even have a way to survive? Grandmother, can we just call off this wedding? Call it off? Do you know the status of the Qin family? Qinyan's aunt is the Empress, and her father is the Prime Minister. We were the ones who begged for this match. If we can align ourselves with the Qins, only then will your position at court be secure. And yet you dare think of calling it off. But what about Wanning's unborn child? The child. A flash of ruthlessness crossed old Madame Lu's eyes. The Lu family's eldest legitimate grandson must come from Qinyan. As for Wanning's, it cannot be kept. Someone prepare the carriage. I must go to the Prime Minister's manor to apologize in person. The old madam stood up, straightened her robes, her gaze dark and gloomy. "Chengyan, you're coming too!" The main hall of the Prime Minister's manor. The atmosphere was heavy enough to suffocate. Father sat upright in the seat of honor, his face livid with rage. Mother sat by his side, holding my hand with a pained expression, her eyes red from crying. Old Madame Lu entered with a forced smile. That wretched boy was foolish and offended, dear Yana. I've brought Chengyan here specifically to apologize. As she spoke, she shot a look at Lu Chengyan. Lu Chengyan reluctantly bowed. "Father-in-law, mother-in-law, I lacked discipline." "Lack of discipline?" Father snorted coldly. "The Marquis of Chengyang certainly puts on quite a show before even marrying in. His mistress dares to confront my daughter in the street with her belly out. How is this just a lack of discipline? This is a blatant disregard for the Qin family." Old Madame Lu quickly spoke up. "I have already made a decision. Once Yaner has married into our family, Whether Lu Wanning is killed or punished will be entirely up to Yaner. As for the child in her womb, naturally, it cannot be allowed to remain. I suddenly let out a soft chuckle. Madam, you've certainly calculated this well. You won't take action now, but insist on waiting until I'm married to let me handle it. Once I arrive, I'd drive your cousin to her death. Eliminate the firstborn. The reputation of a vicious wife! Wouldn't I have to carry that forever? Old Madame Lu's face stiffened. Yaner, how could you say that? I got up and walked over to Lu Chengyan. Marquis, since you are so deeply devoted to your cousin, I am...